السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, we continue in reflecting in some of the surahs of the Quran in order of revelation, how it was when it was revealed, and the condition that that particular revelation was in. And we're talking in order from the point of Surah Al-Alaq at the very beginning, moving forward. And we reach now maybe the fourth year or so, approximately. But it is still the beginning of the revelation, meaning the beginning of the da'wah, or the beginning of the time of Mecca, the Meccan time. And today, inshallah, we'll be reflecting, starting to reflect on Surah Al-Fajr. And so far, the theme, the general theme of the surah about depending on Allah and about those who are think that they are independent. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala back and forth many times talking about this subject, that a human being is dependent on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every existence that they have. And there are those who are under the illusion that they are independent, and how the punishment is going to be for those who are such people who are refusing the concept of Tawheed. Now, the theme is more about warning than rewarding, more about what happens if you do not hold on to this message that's coming to save you, and less about what will happen for you for those who are following it. Yes, the indication is there, but there are more details about the warnings than the reward. Surah Al-Fajr is a beginning of talking to Quraysh, as a Quraysh now, talking to the whole village, the whole town, the whole Arabs that are settling there for years and controlling that part of the Arabian Peninsula, Quraysh. So the talk is about them and to them. So now it is coming out of an individual to more of what's going on at the time in more of a bigger circle. And also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be mentioning nations before. This is something now new, that nations, so it is coming not global, but it is, well, you can say global because Pharaoh is mentioned as well and so forth. So the theme now is bigger. Okay, it is not focused on individuals, it's focused on a society and a nation and a civilization. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started by swearing by many things, and then talking about mankind in general, their psyche, and their misunderstanding about the relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then that is the sickness. And then the reason for this sickness, the disease that caused this sickness. And then the result at the end. The result at the end. In hellfire and paradise. Okay? So, what did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swear by? Once Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears, we know that Allah swears with whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wishes, and then swears by whatever He swears by subhanahu wa ta'ala is connected to what He is swearing on. Okay, so now what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swearing by? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والفجر وليال عشر والشفع والوتر والليل إذا يسر إن في ذلك لقسم لذي حجر. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears by four issues, and then saying that indeed in this oath there is it is indeed a great oath for those who are having intellect. In other words, think about it. Think about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just said. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, as for human being, فَأَمَّا الْإِنسَانُ إِذَا مَا ابْتَلَاهُ رَبُّهُ فَأَكْرَمَهُ وَنَعَّمَهُ فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي أَكْرَمَنِ وَأَمَّا إِذَا مَا ابْتَلَاهُ فَقَدَرَ عَلَيْهِ رِزْقَهُ فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي أَهَانَنِ. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears on. That as for mankind, when his Lord honor him, test him, honor him, and give him good life, easy life, he'll say, Allah honored me. And when he holds the measure to him, just give him some measure, limited measure, he will say, my Lord humiliated me. Kalla, no, that is not the case. So this is the misunderstanding of what's going on. This is not the reality. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, why is this happening? With describing the disease. Because they are mistreating the orphans. Okay? And not giving the money or taking care of the money for the needy, the miskin. And then they love inheritance, and then they love wealth. Okay, and so now let's go back and see what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears by. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears by, there is a lot of talks and interpretation of it throughout our history. But at the time of revelation, those who were there listening to these words, it meant something specific to them. Afterwards, after the revelation, after the Quran is done, then the interpretation of these issues became different. Or became the door was open wide to interpret it in different ways, which is both okay, because the translation or the oath can, and the meaning of it can handle and is enough room to look at it in many different ways. Okay, but today we'll look at it from the point of view of those who are listening at the time, because this is the purpose of this series of revelation, reflecting on the ayat in the time of revelation. Okay, so meaning that everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears by, the Quraysh at the time are familiar with it. They are familiar with it. Okay, so what is it? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, wal fajr by dawn, the dawn time, وَلَيَالٍ عَشْرٍ, and by 10 nights, not the 10 nights, not by وَاللَّيَالِ الْعَشْرِ, no, وَلَيَالٍ عَشْرٍ, and by 10 nights, okay? وَالشَّفْعِ وَالْوَتْرِ, and by the even and the odd, okay? So إن في ذلك لقسم لذي حجر. Indeed, in this oath, it is a great oath for those who have intellect and think about it. Okay? Now, وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَسْرِ, جَزَاكَ اللَّهُ خَيْرًا. And by the night as it departs quickly and departs. So, now, what is this oath to those who are listening to it? What are these 10 nights? Okay? Later on they tell you it's 10 nights of the Ramadan, the last 10 nights. But at that time there was no Ramadan. For the companions, Ramadan did not come until the second year of Hijrah. Okay, way after 15 years of this revelation, or maybe 11 years or so. Okay? But what they were familiar with, that the 10 nights of Hajj, of Dhul Hijjah, they are familiar with it. So most likely, this is the way they thought of it. Okay. So by dawn, by Fajr. So most likely, all the oath is about the time of Hajj. All of it. Because this is the times that they held sacred with them. Remember, this is inheritance of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam and Sayyidina Ismail alayhi salam. So this is something that they held so close. And if you compare the society then to all other societies in the world, others of civilizations, they had that which the materials that they can show for their civilizations. The Arabs didn't, right? The Persians, they were advanced in many things, okay? In calculation, in math, in recording issues, and in buildings and so forth. The Romans, similar, okay? And then there was the Pharaoh before, and so forth. So all civilizations, they tend to be proud of that which they present, physical things that is presented there, that indicates how beautiful their civilization is and advanced. The Arabs didn't. They had nothing. Okay? They are the same for hundreds and hundreds of years. Okay? But what they had is Hajj. They are proud of what? Of the Kaaba is there, of Ismail alayhi salam, of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and they are taking care of the Hajj. This is it. This is Quraysh. Okay? Especially after someone came from Yemen, Abraha wanted to destroy the Kaaba, and At-Tayr al-Ababil, the birds came and did what they did to them. So now they are famous more than anything now. Okay? And they are proud of this than ever before. And they are in safety in this than ever before. Nobody would dare to come around and harm them. I mean, you'll be crazy. Birds came from the sky and destroys elephant, destroys a king and his people and so forth. So don't fool with Quraysh. Okay? So now, when those swearing about the Fajr and the 10 and the odd and the even and the night, this is to them, listening to this, is connected to what they had sacred. Okay? Because it is not a swear like before. Okay? What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears before, swears by, the day and the night and so forth. They're about the universe and what Allah created in the universe. But now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about certain specific times, okay? And nights and days and odd, and even then this is something different. It has to relate to something that they are familiar with. So the Fajr and actually some scholars of tafsir reaching this conclusion, okay? It's not from me, okay? That yes, this is about Hajj. So Fajr, it is the Fajr which the Hajj starts, okay? You start the day. You are now putting the ihram on. Remember, it was the same thing as we have it today. But some filth and shirk entered it. But all the pillars of Hajj were there. Okay? There's you put the ihram on, okay, and you go to Arafat, and then you go to Muzdalifah afterwards, and you go to Mina, and you do the tawaf and the tawaf al-ifada and so forth. It is exactly as we have it today in a way, but it is they added to it. There is some tribes that said we do not have to go to Mina at all or to Arafat at all, or they have changed here and there. Okay, because we do not have to go to the nights of Mina and so forth because we are such and such Arabs, and so there you cannot wear ihram from with your clothes. You put ihram on, but ihram has to be from money that is halal, meaning not a filthy money. So you have to buy it from there, and then problems arise. They made the prices so high, so they said we're gonna make tawaf naked, and they started making tawaf naked, and so forth. Okay, but nevertheless, is still they are proud of this, and this is an event that happens every year. That all the Arab tribes come around and make Hajj. So now, this is by the start of this time, the Fajr of the start of this time. And Layalin Ashr, by 10 nights, because it will take 10 nights to perform the Hajj, okay? وَالشَّفْعِ وَالْوَتْرِ, by the even and the odd. And some says that the odd here is Arafah, the day of Arafah, because it is one day, and the others together with Arafah is even. Okay, so meaning that by all of them together, and especially by Arafat, okay, because this is a special day. وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَسْرِ, and by the day, the night, as that moves quickly and disappears. And it is, some refer to the now the end of the times of Mina, the end of and then the times of Mina, and the night comes and you leave. That's it. This is the time at the end as you are leaving. And also some refer to al-ad and the even meaning in Mina, because you can stay for 2 days and leave, or you can continue for 3 days. So the even is the 2 days and the odd are the 3 days. Okay? So you can actually fit all of this oath to that Hajj and the time of Hajj. Okay? So now, when you look at it that way, and those who are listening to it, yes, it is time that is so special. This is who we are. This is what makes us Quraysh. This is what makes us famous in the whole peninsula. This is what gets us close to Allah. Okay, gets close to the prophets of Allah. This is what we are proud of. Okay. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَقَسَمٌ لِذِي حِجْرٍ. Indeed, in this, this is a wonderful oath and a huge oath for those who have hijr, have intellect, those who think. Okay. Now, meaning that ponder about this, look in this, think about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just said. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about hijr here, the intellect, the meaning of the intellect or the brain or the thinking. Allah calls it hijr, Allah called it aql, Allah called it nuha. Okay? And all has to do with restriction. All has to do is holding back. All has to do is restrain. Hijr is when you surround something so it will not come out from the boundary that you put into it. Okay? When you surround those who are sick. Okay? This is hijr sihhi. This is hijr for health. Okay? You surround people and say the town has disease, nobody go in or out. That is kind of hijr. The water, as it wants to run, and you make hijr, or you dig for something to it so it will be contained. So here is hijr, meaning you do not let it go, you hold on. Aql is to tie, literally tie. Okay, tie the camel. Aqal al-jamal, aqal, to tie the camel. So aql is not to let it free as it goes as it wishes, no, to hold it back, to think and not to be wild in your thinking, okay, and go beyond the reason. Okay. And nuha from nahi. Nahi meaning to say the do nots, not the do's, but the do nots. You do not do this, this and that. Okay, this is nahi. Amr bil ma'ruf wa nahi anil munkar. Okay, that is command the good and prevent and prohibit the evil. Nahi, this is nuha, the same thing. Okay, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls it lub. And sometimes lub is meaning the core of your thinking, of your aql or your brain is lub. And lub, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will talk about it and refer to it when you're looking at the universe and thinking about and pondering now it's not to hold back this, it is to really let it go, but with the limit of what? Look at the sun, look at the earth, look at the night, look at the day, look at the mountains and so forth, and ponder about all of this. Go to your core deep and see the attributes of Allah in the universe and so forth. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says it is for those who have nuha, hijr, for those who have hijr, that you ponder on this, that what I'm giving you, that the oath that I'm giving you. Now, ألم ترى كيف فعل ربك بعاد. Okay, إرم ذات العماد الذين طغوا في البلاد وأكثروا فيها الفساد وثمود الذين جابوا الصخر بالواد وفرعون ذي الأوتاد فرعون ذي الأوتاد الذين طغوا في البلاد وأكثروا فيها الفساد فصب عليهم ربك سوط عذاب إن ربك لبالمرصاد. I think we skipped to this part at the beginning. Okay? This after the oath, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about nations now. Okay? Talked about nations, civilizations that came before. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about that civilization, about what they have to present. Okay, from indication of how civilized they were. Another word, look Quraysh, I'm giving you example of nations and civilization before you. You are familiar with, you see the ruins around you, and you hear about them, but they have something to present, you have nothing to present. Okay? You have nothing to present. But you have what? What I just mentioned, the oath that Allah mentioned. Okay? So have you seen, أَلَمْ تَرَ كَيْفَ فَعَلَ رَبُّكَ بِعَادٍ, how your Lord, what your Lord did with Ad. Iram. Ad is the name of tribe. Iram referring to, could be the leader, their name, or the particular place, a name that they are familiar with, okay? That they use to talk about Ad and Iram, okay, and the wars and so forth. Ad were people, they were fearless and they were ruthless, okay? When they, إذا بطشتم جبارين, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, when you go and attack, you attack in a way that's ruthless, that you destroy everything, you tear everything apart. Okay? They used to say, Man ashaddu minna quwwa, who more mighty than us? That's how they talk. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Allah is more mighty than you. Okay? Ad. ألم ترى كيف فعل ربك بعاد إرم ذات العماد. The one with العماد, the columns. The Imad, columns, okay? Columns, what are the columns? The columns, that's referring to an architecture, okay? An architecture is that eventually the world took it from them. The columns that you see all over the world after that is picked and depicted from them, okay? The Romans, okay, they were not the first who do the columns, okay? ألم ترى كيف فعل ربك بعاد إرم ذات العماد التي لم يخلق مثلها في البلاد. The one that nothing is created in Bilad, in all the nations like it. You cannot find anything like it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. Okay? That's a huge statement. And that is to show Quraysh and show us and show everyone that reads this, that you cannot boast with what you are advanced with in technology while you are causing mischief on earth, right? Another word, how did you do this? And tell me about your society. Tell me about the needy around.